Shalom, Kol Halal, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahushai, Bahasham, Rakaha Kwadash. Double honors unto the apostles, double honors unto the elder bishops. Salutations to all my fellow laborers doing this work in truth and sincerity, risking their lives and their freedom to do so, now more so than ever. The would-be judges, the 144,000, and the scattered elect that are scattered around the four corners of the earth among the heathen nations that have the appearance of the heathen nations. All right, the Israelite foreigners. This is not a black only thing. And to the few Akwath that are listening and learning, to you I say Shalom. This is your brother Malcolm from the branch of the Great Millstone here in Chicago, coming at you with another lesson in truth. Lamb backing off the beloved brother. All right, and this is Arrows of Indignation 144, who puts up straight to the point videos, edifications that if you got any brain cells, you can get it. And I'm going to read Isaiah 10:1. It says, "Woe unto them that decree unrighteous decrees. They write grievances which they have prescribed, to turn aside the needy from judgment, and to take away the right from the poor of my people, that widows that may be their prey, and that they may rob the fatherless." And the way that they're going to do this is with absolute control over the fact that they will control your finances. All right. If you disagree with the current regime, and it doesn't have to be violently or anything, but if you disagree or question them, they can put you in a financial status that makes it impossible for you to feed yourself, feed your family, pay your bills, to function in society, even for you to get medical help. Basically, you would just sit in the gutter and die. And if anyone tries to help you, they could receive that same fate. This is where we're headed. And the men of the Great Millstone, not IUIC, not HOI, not ISUPK, not Genesis, not Sakari. It has been the men of the Great Millstone and their true affiliates who have been giving you this message of the MOTB, all right, of Revelation, the 13th chapter, all right, which I am now about to play this video, and then I will read it again. This will not be long, but it will be straight to the point. All right. You Israelites have been sold out by these hirelings. The evidence is there. GMS have been saying it all along. And all we got, because you hateth him that rebuketh in the gate, but you loveth those wicked ones that bring the folly and the feel-good message. All right. You love the false prophets. All right. But those who rebuketh in the gate, who point out your wickedness, who point out your wrong, you have a problem with, and that's okay, because it's written that it will be that way. Broad is the way to destruction, all right, but only few, okay, only the few, which is the elect, are gonna make it through this thing that is about to happen. And see, everyone, we look forward to this, and they're about to force this. America is forced to push this because they're behind on the digital thing. They're behind on it. All right. And the dollar is crashing. And one thing I've said for quite a few years now is that they cannot not allow this dollar to just crash. They need someone to blame it on. They need something to blame it on, or someone. And then they're going to usher in the new system that's going to fix it all. And that is the MOTB. All right. But this is Revelation, the 13th chapter. And the starting at the 15th verse. All right. And he had power to give life unto the image of the BESAT, that the image of the BESAT should both speak and cause as many as would not follow or worship the image of the beast, the BESAT, should be killed. And that's basically following their system. It's not an image of Cesare Borgia. All right. It's not Christianity within itself. Christianity is a part of that BEST system. It has been. It was a tool. All right. But they don't even use it anymore. They've abandoned Christianity for the most part. Only people holding on to that are hirelings like Vocab Malone, trying to discredit the Israelites. They've already, Esau, Edom, the oligarchs, and the what do you call the A nationals, who don't care anything about borders or any countries, right? Just Esau, Edom, and their agenda. We're gonna call them the A nationals. All they care about at this point is science, because it's science that they're using fraudulently and falsely. They're using pseudoscience, not real science, to rule over and control you medically, all right? And also financially. The two are going to be connected. Revelation 13:16. And he calls of all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads. So, you know, that M-A-R-K, the charagma. Okay? The charagma. And that means everyone. Free people, people in prison, poor people, the wealthy people. Now, I imagine the very wealthy, they're going to have something different going on, because there's no way that just like they do with the law and the Constitution, the law and the Constitution applies to everyone else, not the people in office at this point. If you can't see that, you know, the people at the top, they move around the law. So we'll see with that, but they're definitely going to make everyone else, you know, be a part of this system. Their system, they'll be a part of the system, but somehow they're going to be immune to certain things. So I imagine with this whole, you know, there'll probably be levels to it, because someone who takes that thing and they get access to something, or can't get access to certain things, and then there's going to be someone who has that thing and they'll have access to everything. So that's what I'm trying to say. All right, if that makes any sense. All right, Revelation 13:17. That no man might buy or sell save that he had the M-A-R-K, the charagma, or the name of the B-E-S-A-T, or the number of his name. So in order for you to buy or sell or participate in this, to have access to certain things, to your own bank account, to work, to even getting into your electric car, or leaving your electric, what do they call these cities they're trying to build, these smart cities? That's a good example of what I was trying to say earlier. You know, that's going to be certain people whose charagma they will access all the smart cities, and then the rest of you underlings, you won't be able to leave yours without permission. Okay, all right, that's you know, the point I was trying to say, trying to make. But nevertheless, regardless of it all, the system is going to be governed by this MOTB that they're pushing, and it's going to fail. All right, it's not going to launch. It is going to fail. They're not going to succeed, because the Lord says when they're about to fill their belly, well, but we'll get to that. So let's play this short video. It's about 4 minutes long, and then we'll bring out another scripture too and wrap this up.
Say hello to the Amazon Dash Cart and take the stress out of shopping. Skip the checkout and keep rolling with the Dash Cart. Scan, weigh, load, and bag items right at the cart. With Store Maps, you can easily find where items are throughout the store. Watching your budget? No problem. Track your spending with a live receipt on screen. When you're done shopping, you really are done. No lines, no rebagging. Simply a smoother way to shop.
Central bankers create cycles. How have the central bankers, this is my last slide because my 12 minutes is just up, have reacted to the truth coming out? They admit that they've been telling porkies, and now they propose to increase their power. So central bankers belatedly admit, oh, now that you've mentioned it, yes, banks create the money supply. So let's abolish that now. And also, by the way, let's abolish cash. So what should we do? Well, introduce digital cyber currency that central banks issue and control, and thereby gain total control over all economic transactions, decisions, and the whole lot you've just heard from the CEO of the GDI. So the greatest concentration of central banking power in history is really the bid they're aiming at. That's the central bank's goal. And of course, digital accounts of dissenters and regime critics could be switched off. It'd be very difficult to even purchase necessities.
Now that is what the Great Millstone has been telling you for decades now. And this same information is what the hireling, the head of IUIC, has been denying and making fun of. So it's going to be interesting to see how they begin to reword and try to scramble to say that they've been saying it all along. You know, as our beloved apostle elder, or the elder apostle Ramlet always says, if you were listening closely to what I said, moron, all right, the IUIC, from their head hireling down to the most unlearned guy on the street, because their men are very unlearned collectively. They have fumbled horribly when it comes to, well, many topics, but especially this very important one of the MOTB. And it's going to be quite comical and interesting to see what they have to say and how many members they're going to lose. Watching them fall as the Lord begins to rip and destroy them and shame them the same way that they've done Sakari, which these people just have no, even when they're shamed, they're still proud. It's amazing. All right. But here we go.
So,
matter of fact, let me let it play.
This is an Orwellian dystopia of total control, the end of any freedoms. That's really what central banks are aiming at. Several central banks have, like the Bank of England, already prepared their microchip implant, RFID chip, to be implanted under your skin. And why is there sudden discussion about universal basic income from all the grassroots and inverted commas movements?
Right, so universal basic income is what's going to govern this thing, and the implant, the charagma, into your skin, under your skin. That's the only way to do it, because if it's in a device, it's already in your phone, moron. You know, if it's in your device or in your credit card, those can be left at home, and you could be a free individual walking around with a pocket full of cash, buying your way through and spending your way through security points and et cetera, et cetera. And they are going to eliminate that possibility. And the Great Millstone has been telling you all along that they were going to do this with an implementation of something, a device into your skin, under your skin. All right. IUIC has been the main opposition of this. And HOI, you know, they also were in denial of it. And the difference between them, and I say this honestly, I think the HOI was sincere, but just simply was sincerely wrong. IUIC, on the other hand, was maliciously trying to hide and cover up the truth because they're paid off hirelings. All right. That's why they do the things that they do. They're no different from a Christian church. And they give the feel good, message to the women. They cater to women, and all that's going to come to naught. All right. They teach that basically they're just Christianity with the Hebrew twist. They don't actually teach what's in the Bible. The Bible clearly says that you can have multiple wives. Clearly. Right. Now, it's not, advised that you would do that in this society, because Esau's still ruling here and he teaches opposite of the Bible. But biblically, it's a sound doctrine. You can't get around Matthew 19 and Isaiah 4:1. Those precepts are just you can't do it. Through that precepts, we get understanding. And these false prophets, their time is coming to an end.
And billionaires, universal basic income is the bribe for you to accept the microchip. The overarching trend of the 20th century is concentration of power in the hands of the few. That's what we have to keep in mind. We have to work against this. We don't want to have these unaccountable central planners making decisions.
And so he's trying to battle it, and it's not going to happen. They're going to succeed. All right. This is Revelation 2:10. For none of these things which thou shalt suffer Salakia, fear none of these things which thou shalt suffer. Behold, the devil shall cast some of you into prison, that ye may be tried, that ye shall have tribulation 10 days, which is a period of time. Be thou faithful unto death, and I will give thee a crown of life. So some of us are going to die when they implement this. All right, some of us are going to get locked up. You see all those concentration camps that they're putting in Central America, down in is it El Salvador? Which are basically death camps. All right, you go in, you don't come out. You come out in a box, you know, or you come out in an urn because they've cremated you. Who knows? All right, that you go in, you don't leave. You don't leave with your spirit intact into your body. Your body, right? When you leave there, your spirit is separated from your body. All right, your spirit is back in the spirit world, so it seems. And that's their plan. All right, so they're going to do this for a period of time, because they said for a period of time they're going to do this and make life impossible. All right, and which is how they're going to gain rule. But then the Lord is going to stop them. All right, they're not going to really get a chance to fully enjoy this newfound rulership and rule that they have, because the moment they sit down to enjoy it, all right, to enjoy that meal of control, of victory, all right, that's when the Lord's going to come and spoil their plans.
Bankers create cycles. How have the central bankers, this is my last slide because my 12 minutes are just up, have reacted to the truth coming out? They admit that they've been telling porkies, and now they propose to increase their power. So central bankers belatedly admit, oh, now that you've mentioned it, yes, banks create the money supply. So let's abolish that now. And also, by the way, let's abolish cash. So what should we do? Well, introduce digital cybercurrency that central banks issue and control, and thereby gain total control over all economic transactions, decisions, and the whole lot you've just heard from the CEO of the GDI. So the greatest concentration of central banking power in history is really the bid they're aiming at. That's the central bank's goal. And, of course, digital accounts of dissenters and regime critics could be switched off. It'd be very difficult to even purchase necessities. So this is an Orwellian dystopia of total control, the end of any freedoms. That's really what central banks are aiming at. Several central banks have, like the Bank of England, already prepared their microchip implant, RFID chip, to be implanted under your skin. And why is there sudden discussion about universal basic income from all the grassroots and inverted commas movements and billionaires? Oh, universal basic income is the bribe for you to accept the microchip. The overarching trend of the...
Exactly, because it's going to get so hard out here. And you can see the thousands of videos being put up by Americans, men and women, all races, all creeds, that are struggling, including those who have degrees and are making over 6 figures, are not making it. All right. And they're going, and there's a lot of them, you know, those that don't commit suicide, you know, when the chaos starts, that's why the UBI is the carrot tossed in their face. All right. And they're just going to say, screw it. That's when they said you will own nothing and you will be happy. Okay. That is their plan. And the Lord has his own plan. And it's this. This is Job 20 and 23. When he is about to fill his belly, that is specifically talking about when this, what we're listening to, gets launched. All right. When they launch this program, okay, WW3 is going to go full blown. All right. The third woe. And in the midst of that, the Lord returns. So this thing is dangerously close, because the dollar is on the verge of collapsing. As we speak, America is collapsing. Its financial system is collapsing. Many of its allies are turned against it, are joining on with the other nations. And the BRICS nations' digital system is already in place. They're ahead on everything as far as the financial system and trade, even in their missile technology. They're ahead, and the collection of them together. All right. And the West, which is basically at this point, Europe is really no longer part of the West to a certain degree. The West is really right now is just making up the Israelis and Americans. And the Israelis rule here in America. That's why they have the Israeli lobbyists, and no other country has it. There's no Turkish lobbyists. There's no Swedish lobbyists. There's no German lobbyists. There's no African, no Congolese. It's only Israeli lobbyists. And they have a full grip on the American banking system, on the American financial system, on the American justice system, and on the American Congress. Point blank, period. And that's not anti-sim anything. That's just the truth. That's just the truth. All right. Job 20:23. When he is about to fill his belly, God shall cast the fury of his wrath upon him. Damn it. And shall rain it upon him while he is eating. So when they begin to sit down and enjoy or set this thing in stone, and they start ruling over people this way, that's when everything goes to hell. And he shall flee from the iron weapon, and the bull steel shall strike him through. All right, the third woe goes full blown, and the nations that hated the whore, all right, that were once with the whore. So Esau Edom is about to be destroyed by themselves and by their former allies, just as the scriptures say. It is drawn and it cometh out of the body, and that's talking about the ICBMs. All right. Yeah, the glittering sword cometh out of his gall, terrors are upon him. All darkness shall be hid in his secret places, and a fire not blown shall consume him. And it shall go ill with him that is left in his tabernacle. And the heavens shall reveal his iniquity, and the earth shall rise up against him. This man just said we need to fight against that. We can't allow them to do that. And the earth is rising. Basically, the earth is rising up against Esau Edom, the so-called white man, because the world he's the cancer of the earth. He is the problem. All right. He needs to create a pseudoscience drug, petroleum-based peel that eliminates Edomites. All right, that's what he needs to do, because if you get rid of them, you fix the earth. And that's what the Lord is about to do. So with that, I'm going to give all praises, all honor, and glory unto Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Bakahakwadash, Kwam Yasharala, Abad Babal.